Hi everybody, welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and thank you for joining me for another week of live step-by-step crafting. I hope you all had an amazing weekend, an amazing Mother's Day if you are mothers out there. No matter what type of fashion you are, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. Now let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. If you're following along, make sure to comment live, say hi. It's always fun to see everybody that's joining me this week. So let me just click here. All right, looks like I am live. Hello, Veronica. Thank you for watching. Hi, Andrea. Thank you guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Now, if you're watching this via replay or live on my YouTube page, make sure to comment and let me know that you were able to join via replay on here on Facebook, live on YouTube, or replay on my YouTube as well. I am dual streaming live here on Facebook and YouTube, so it's always fun to see when the different comments come through each week. All right, today I have two projects featuring the He's All That bundle. This is a new suite from the 22-23 annual catalog, and it just debuted last week. Now, these products are perfect for creating masculine projects. I want to admit I do struggle a little bit with creating masculine projects, and that is because I don't typically work in the colors that they are normally made with. I normally tend to gravitate towards our bright color family, so your bright pinks and greens, yellows. So those are the colors I tend to gravitate to. So sometimes masculine cards are a little bit of a trick for me, but the He's All That suite actually makes these projects very fun because there are some softer colors in there that you may not typically think are masculine colors. So looks like we've got a great crowd. Hi Cindy, Carol, Joan, hello everybody, thanks for joining. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into a couple of quick announcements that I have, and then we will move right into our project. So let's go ahead and swap the camera. The first thing that I want to talk about is my we're in May now, May card class, May Club Craft and Create. There we go, if I could spit it out for you guys. May Club Craft and Create. We are featuring the Sweet Songbirds stamp set. Today is the deadline to register for this class. This is a monthly subscription class that I have. You can try it out for 1 month. You can try it out for 6, 12, however many months you want to. But we are featuring the Sweet Songbirds stamp set and coordinating punch this month. Now these projects all feature the new 2022-2024 in colors, and I'll show you some of our projects here. So these are the projects that you'll create in your Club Craft and Create. Now this is either an in-person or a live class via Zoom. So no matter where you live in the United States, you can participate in Club Craft and Create. You can add on the Sweet Songbirds bundle if you would like, and this is such a fun set. This is one of the first ones that I gravitated towards when we had our demonstrator pre-order. So these are the cards for Club Craft and Create. Deadline to register is today. There will be a link in the description of this video once I'm done here tonight, and the live class is Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday the 17th, and then Zoom is Wednesday the 18th. So we have our in-person and Zoom event for that. If you aren't able to make the Zoom date, it is recorded, so you can always go back and watch the projects again. So if you aren't able to make it live for the Zoom, it's recorded for everybody. But that is May's Club Craft and Create. Now, May's card class to go, registration deadline is this coming Sunday, and I am featuring the He's All That stamp set and coordinating designer series paper to go along with that. Actually, I need to grab the stamp set for today. Let me see there it is. I have it, and I forgot to pull it for our projects. So here is the He's All That stamp set. This is May's card class to go. I'm partnering with Lisa Hardy. She's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada. So no matter where you are in North America, you can create along with us. Now each person will receive a full package of the new He's All That 12 by 12 Specialty Designer Series paper. Now this is the masculine paper I'll be using on my projects here today. So you can create extra Makers Monday projects if you sign up for the card class to go. The He's the Man 12 by 12 Specialty Designer Series paper has all these fun different designs. And then down here I have two of the punch outs that are actually included. You have 2 sheets of full color die cut punch outs all ready to go. So you don't even have to stamp to be able to create a card. So these are 2 of the projects that you will be creating. There's 2 more. You actually receive enough supplies to make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. A full package of the He's the Man 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, some rustic gems, and a roll of this faux suede ribbon that I'm going to use on our projects today. You can add on the He's All That bundle. But the deadline to register for this class is Sunday. So again, link in the description of the video to be able to see that information. All right, next up, don't forget, I talked about this last week, the In Color Starter Kit. If your wish list is bigger than $100 from the new annual catalog, Stampin' Up! Is running a special this month where you can add $66.50 of free in-color products to your starter kit. So the starter kit, it's $99 for your choice of $125 worth of product, no tax, and, or sorry, free shipping with tax included. You have to pay tax, but there's free shipping on it. In that $66, you get a full pack of the new 6x6 in-color Designer Series paper, exclusive 22-24 in-color grid paper, some in-color cardstock, and the best part of the whole thing that I think is you get all 5 stamp pads of the new in-colors. So Sweet Sorbet, Orchid Oasis, Tahitian Tide, Starry Sky, and Parakeet Party. Now, this is on top of your $125 worth of products of your choice. So you can get other in-color products, you can get stamp sets, dies, whatever you want in your starter kit. The Stampin' Blondie team is an amazing group of ladies. We are all over the country and we have a wonderful time. So no matter where you live, you can participate in our team activities because we do virtual and in person as well. So that special runs until May 31st. Again, link in the description of this video once I'm done here tonight. All right, the last thing that I want to go to. At the end of March, I gave you guys an update on where I stand with the incentive trip. So last year with Stampin' Up, I earned my very first incentive trip. And then about 3 weeks later, it was canceled because of COVID. I actually was supposed to be sailing on a Western Caribbean cruise this coming Saturday. So unfortunately, it's been canceled, but at the end of March, I gave you guys an update on where I am about earning my second incentive trip, but I'm gonna call it my first because I really didn't get to go on my first. So at the end of March, I was at 20,000 out of 40,000 points. And I'm happy to announce that at the beginning here of May, I'm currently at 25,000 of the 40,000 points needed to earn the incentive trip. So how can you help me earn that? So all of your class registrations, your orders that you place, all help me earn that incentive trip. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. I like sharing those details with everybody. I know you guys like to follow along on my Stampin' journey. So I just wanted to let you know where I am, and I'm excited that I hope, fingers crossed, that a lot of hard work, but I will earn it again this year and actually get to go on the trip. All right, our 2 projects today. We are featuring the He's the Man stamp set. So I showed you guys the stamp set already and the coordinating Designer Series paper, But there's also the All That Dies. So this can be purchased in a bundle. It can be purchased as a suite, which means the bundle is the stamp set and dies. The suite includes the Specialty Designer Series paper and these new rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. So they come in 2 different sizes, and there's a small and a large. So this can all be purchased individually. It can be purchased as a suite all together, or the bundle again individually as well. Now I always forget to do this, Prize Patrol. So if you are new to watching my videos, each week I do something called Prize Patrol. And all you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and you can be entered into Prize Patrol. That's how easy it is. So as a token, I do a drawing each week for some goodies. And 2 weeks ago, I forgot to pull the prize. So 2 weeks ago, our prize was a full roll of this, what is this called? The Very Vanilla Lace, Scalloped Laced Trim. So you guys can hopefully still see that. There we go, kind of. So the winner of that was Diana McCall. I think maybe I saw her on here. If not, I know she always watches. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. All right, so Diana McCall is our Prize Patrol winner from 2 weeks ago. And then last week, our Prize Patrol was the Glossy Dots Assortment. So this is a brand new item from the 22-23 annual catalog, and I know she's watching because I have seen her comment a couple times. So Andrea, congratulations, you are our winner for our Prize Patrol from last week. So if you want to message me your address, I don't think I have your address, Andrea, send me a private message with your address and I will pop these in the mail for you. So congratulations, everybody. And thank you. Sorry about the sneeze right in the middle. All right. The He's All That bundle. This is found on page 79 of our annual catalog. It has a whole 2-page spread. So like I mentioned, this is a suite. So a suite has one number right up here in the upper left corner that you can add to your order, and it includes everything all at once. It's just a bundled number for that. So it includes that designer series paper, the rustic backed dots, and then the stamp set in the bundle, or the dies. So if you want to buy everything individually, you can do that as well, but page 78, 79 of our new annual catalog is where you can find what we are going to work on today. So these are the 2 projects that we will be creating. Very simple to put together, but they look awesome. Like I mentioned, masculine cards are something that I run into having an issue with, but these are very easy to put together, and you can create these. And this one's really fun because you can swap this layout with other designer series papers. Like if you have a floral pattern, you could do the same layout with that paper and turn it into a feminine project as well. So no matter what kind of project you want to create, these layouts are great for those. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We are gonna work on this card first. This is a Cajun Craze card base. And don't forget my project PDF tutorial. Every week on Monday at 6 a.m. I post on my website stampandblondie.com of project PDF tutorial. It has all of the item names, numbers, prices, and the project dimensions of the 2 projects that we are going to create here for Makers Monday. So you can pair this project PDF tutorial with the video and create your own Makers Mondays projects. I love to see what you create, so make sure to post on my Create with Stampin' Blondie Facebook group page, and I would love to see what you create each week. Okay, so we are gonna create these fun little argyle pieces here. So this is the All That Dies, and there's actually 2 argyle pieces. They are exact same thing. So when you get your die set, don't worry if you have 2 dies of the same thing. It's just because creating argyle, if you want to do a full pattern piece for a background, it could take a long time die cutting all of those pieces. So doing these together really helps. And I have a trick on how to use that and create them, cut them out a lot easier. All right, Cajun Craze cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Again, all the dimensions are on that project PDF tutorial, so I'm not gonna go over all of them, but I just use my bone folder to score my line and kind of lay it down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna lay down some grid paper here because we are gonna be doing some stamping and it might come off our paper. So we're gonna do a tone on tone stamping, Cajun Craze ink on Cajun Craze cardstock. And we're going to use the stamp that is this Every Day With You is Another Adventure. So with this, let me get my stamp here. I didn't put the sticker on the back of some of these because it's just easier sometimes to whip out the projects without putting the stickers, but then you guys can't see them. So there we go, we got that on there. Okay, so our stamp here, we're gonna make sure it is right side up. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna ink up using Cajun Craze, and we're gonna just stamp this wherever your little heart desires. So we have our grid paper down in case we stamp off a little bit. And I'm not gonna do the entire thing because our designer series paper here is gonna cover up our bottom portion of our card. So there's no need to stamp down there, but up here we may see some of it depending on where the pieces land. So just a little bit on the top to get that background, but there's no need to stamp down here when you can't see what's going on. Okay, next we're gonna lay down our designer series paper. So this is that fun, it's like a brown plaid, and on the other side are these really cute glasses and ties. I really like those. I'm gonna use my multi-purpose liquid glue here, and this is gonna go right in the middle of our card. See, you really won't see the bottom here, so there's no need for that stamping any further down. And then again, a smaller piece of the designer series paper. This is my favorite piece. It has the little Airstream campers, the old school campers with soft succulent, a color that you traditionally would not think of masculine projects made out of, but with the addition of early espresso and this kind of like camping theme to it, it really just makes it a fun masculine scent. Okay. Now we are gonna do some die cutting. Now I already cut one piece of the Argyle die cut, so I didn't want to cut both out at the same time, so I just wanted to save a little bit of time. Get that out of the way. So I already die cut one, but I wanted to show you a tip and trick for using these. Now these are pretty intricate dies. You can see there's lots of lines, so we're gonna die cut and do some embossing on the pieces at the same time. So we really want, with an intricate die, the best thing you can do is to use a piece of wax paper. When you run it through the machine, it's not going to stick the pieces of cardstock into your die. So it'll be a lot easier to pop them out. And these dies fit in our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. So we're gonna use that today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take my piece of soft succulent cardstock, just a piece of basic wax paper, not anything fancy, and we're gonna lay our die right on top of the wax paper. Now it does not transfer any waxiness to your die, so you don't have to worry about that. And we just add our plate on top, run it through. Now this I'm gonna kind of run through a couple times. I just wanna make sure. I ran it through once before and it didn't really, it was kind of hard to punch out the pieces. So I just ran it through a couple times, and you'll see with the wax paper, it just slides right off. There are no pieces of cardstock stuck in my die. And then it just punches right out, and you just kind of peel that wax paper right off, and these pieces will just punch right out. Now if you have trouble getting all the little pieces out, you can take your pick tool and just poke them right out. So the wax paper really helps with those to not stick into your die, so they're much, much easier. And then once you got all your pieces poked out, very simple. Now we do have a die brush that connects to the end of your Take Your Pick tool, but I found that using the wax paper, I don't even need that sometimes. That I can just punch these out with the wax paper and then use my Take Your Pick tool, and it slides right out of the die. So very, very easy to put that together. All right, our next stamp that we're going to use is the one that says Together for the Long Haul. So let me put the sticker on it so you guys can see it. Again, a habit that sometimes I don't always remember to do, but if you've never added the sticker to your stamp, we'll give a little tutorial here. You just take your stamp, I peel off the edge and then stick it right on the sticker and peel it right off. So there you go, very simple. These are sticky on the back so they adhere to our clear blocks. And we are gonna use just a spare piece of basic white cardstock and early espresso ink for this one. We are gonna do some die cutting. So we're gonna stamp first, and this says Together for the Long Haul, and it has this fun little VW van on it. Together for the Long Haul. And yes, these are perfect for Father's Day coming up. So Peggy, you are right. Lisa and I decided to use the stamp set because we have Father's Day coming up. So we wanted to showcase that in our class this month. So our May class is this stamp set. All right, Cajun Craze Stampin' Blends. And because we're using Stampin' Blends, we want to cover our workspace because they may bleed just a little bit. And I'll get my little sample out so you guys can see. Now, I'm not using these as our traditional Stampin' Blends markers. I'm actually just going to use the two different colors to color in the bus. So normally you would use like the light and the dark to blend together and create highlights and contrast on your project, but with the two different markers, it kind of makes the bus look like it has a variation in paint color on it. So we're just gonna color in that. Now I did not add on the project sheet, but if you want to step up your design here a little bit more, you can use the Soft Succulent Stampin' Blends and this is the Smoky Slate, and we're just gonna use the light smoky slate around the wheels and the light soft succulent on the surfboard. So it kind of ties all those colors in together. Now, because we colored, you can see on the back with Stampin' Blends, depending on how much you layer them together, it could bleed through your paper. So that's why you always want to cover your workspace with something before you color with Stampin' Blends. All right, this fun circle die here, it's kind of a scallop. We are going to die cut this, and I'm gonna use some washi tape just to hold my die in place when I run it through the machine. That makes sure that it's not twisting and turning all over the place, and it keeps it right on where I stamped my image at. All right, run through the mini machine. Now you don't have to do multiple passes on this one because it's just the circle. With those intricate dies, that's when you would need to sometimes do a second or a third pass through the machine. Okay. When you use the washi tape, you just want to be careful when you lift it up. Even though washi tape, it is paper tape, so it's not as sticky and tacky as like Scotch tape. It can still tear your paper if you rip it off too fast. So you just want to gently peel that off your die cut piece. All right, now we are going to assemble. So we have our two pieces of Argyle dies, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little bit of liquid glue on those open pieces, and that one's just gonna kind of go right there. And if you want to, you can always get your fine tip glue pen out and add more glue to these, but just a little bit of glue will hold them down. Just kind of push it onto the paper. Now on the back of our scalloped piece that we die cut, we're gonna use Stampin' Dimensionals. And that's gonna go right over top our piece here. Now as the final finishing touch, we are gonna come in with those rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. And I like to use the spatula end of my Take Your Pick tool. It really kind of gets under them without having them fly across the room. So we're gonna use the small size of these, and we're gonna put one right in the middle. I recently found out this is called a compass rose. I did not know that it had an official term to it. I just thought it was like a compass sign, I guess, but it's officially called a compass rose. And there we go. There is our first project featuring the He's All That stamp set, the coordinating He's the Man designer series paper, and the All That dies. Now, Andrew, you said you missed a bit getting your son to bed. Are the green pieces a die? Yes, they are these two Argyle dies here in the All That die set. It actually comes with two of the same die, so you can die cut them at the same time. So that is the first project. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments here today. Let me know what you think. Fun, easy project to work with. All right. Our second project. Now this one features a lot of different designer series paper pieces. This actually features every single piece of designer series paper that's in the paper pack. The only pieces that it does not include are the specialty little punch out die pieces. So they don't have little, like when I did my designer series paper chart here, I couldn't cut it because then I wouldn't have all those little die cut pieces on there, so I just picked two, but all the other designer series paper pieces are on this card, the second card here. Again, all the dimensions are on that project PDF tutorial, so I'm not gonna go over all of them. I just need to add the stickers to my stamps. I know I'm terrible. I don't do the stickers all the time. Most of the time I do, sometimes I don't if I'm in a rush. But so you guys can see them, we're gonna add the stickers. There we go. Okay, our project here features a color that I don't really use a lot, Sahara Sand. Now when I'm going for a neutral brownish tone, I tend to gravitate towards Crumb Cake. I feel like Crumb Cake goes with bright subtles, regals, our neutrals, but Sahara Sand is not one that I tend to gravitate towards, but this is the color that's in the designer series paper. So I figured we'll use it. Try to work out of the comfort zone just a little bit. So we have a piece of Sahara Sand cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Crumb Cake cardstock, and we're gonna add that to our card base first, and we're gonna add it with Stampin' Seal Plus adhesive. And that's gonna go right in the middle. There. Now this is just a piece of basic white designer series paper. And what we're gonna do is I've got the 5 strips of the designer series paper. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this as our base to glue our pieces down to. Now, normally I don't do this. Normally I just kind of line my strips up on my cardstock here and then make sure they're spaced out evenly. But because we are going to add some of this faux suede trim, it has to adhere to something. So because we're gonna wrap it around the back. So I have just a piece of basic white cardstock, and that's what we're gonna add our strips here to, and then we'll wrap our suede ribbon around that. So the first one is this really fun designer series paper with the glasses and ties. And then when you use this base here, you don't have to worry about spacing everything out. It's already here. Why did I use Stampin' Seal Plus instead of the regular seal? I used Stampin' Seal Plus instead of the regular Stampin' Seal because I don't have any refills for my Stampin' Seal. That's why. Stampin' Up, they were on non-orderable status for a while. They had a problem getting some of the refills in, so I ran out in that time of refills, and that's why I was using Stampin' Seal Plus. The difference between Stampin' Seal and Stampin' Seal Plus, if you don't know, Stampin' Seal Plus is a much stronger adhesive. It's normally used for creating boxes, treat bags, stuff that you really don't want to come apart. So we have Stampin' Seal, which is our regular Stampin' Seal, regular adhesive, but I didn't have any refills. I have two now. They're in my craft bag in the living room, so I haven't brought them back to my craft room yet, but that's why I used Stampin' Seal Plus. Use what you have, I mean. So I've got the Stampin' Seal there. All right, so now we're just lining up our strips here as they run along the base. Make sure that this one, let's see, if I flip this one, the flame is right side up, but then the cow is upside down. So we'll do it with the flame upside down. And that's just gonna go right on top there. All right, the ribbon that I had mentioned, this is the 1/4 inch faux suede trim. This is a carryover from our previous annual catalog. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a bit of this, just enough to overlap around the back. And where'd my scissors go? There we are. And we're going to bring out Goldie, my Scotch tape. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wrap this around the back and Scotch tape it. I'm using Scotch tape because there's no drying time. Nobody's gonna see the back, and it's instantly ready to go. So we're just going to take the Scotch tape and add that right there to the back. All right, this now can go onto our cardstock base here. And this time I do want to use Stampin' Seal Plus because we have that suede ribbon there. See, with Stampin' Seal Plus, you just want to be very light with it because it is so strong it can rip your paper. So we're just going to add a little bits of that. See, I ripped some of my paper there, so I went too heavy with my adhesive hand there. Yes, I found Goldie. Like I said, it was in my office. I just hadn't brought it back to my craft room yet, but I found Goldie. He was in the office. I'm glad you guys got to see Goldie today. All right, so there is our cardstock base with our suede ribbon. Now we're just gonna take a little bit of this ribbon, probably 3, 4, that's probably 3 inches. Let's see, 4 inches. And we're just gonna run that underneath here, perpendicular to our first one. And we're just gonna tie a simple knot. We're not gonna do a bow in this one because masculine cards don't have bows, but they can have knots. So we're just gonna pull that through and do a knot. And we're just gonna trim the edges at an angle. There we go. All right, some stamping. Like I said, these are the same Argyle pieces that I did on the last project, but because I already showed you how to cut them out with the wax paper, I already pre-cut them out because there's 2 and it would have taken a while to punch out all those pieces. So we're going to do some layering. These are also from the All That dies that coordinate with the stamp set. So this big piece here, I cut out with crushed curry cardstock. And then this smaller piece here, Sahara sand. and we're going to stamp our sentiment. This says, "To the man who does everything." And then that is going to be in Cajun Craze ink here. So we're going to stamp that onto our crushed curry cardstock piece. There we go. And we're just going to layer that together with our liquid glue. So we're just going to add a little bit of liquid glue right in the middle, and that's going to adhere right on top of that. And we're going to set that off to the side while, uh-oh, my ink was not dry. I smudged it. That's okay. It's homemade. Now I have Cajun Craze ink all over my hands as well. All right, we're going to use, this is just a scrap piece of soft succulent cardstock, and we're going to stamp our other sentiment. It says, "Love this guy." And we're going to stamp this with our Early Espresso ink. We're going to stamp that onto the soft succulent, and then we will die cut that out. And you know what? I don't like that. We're going to flip it over and we're going to stamp it more in the middle. If I can get it in the middle. There we go. Okay. So with this die, I'm going to again use washi tape because it is so small, and I want to make sure that it stays right where it is when I run it through the die cut machine, because any movement on this can mess up the whole thing. So just one piece of washi tape right over the entire die will keep it in place while you run it through the machine. So bring back our, lots of die cutting today. I wanted to show you guys the die cutting. Most of the time I die cut all the pieces out, but I wanted to do some die cutting today because this fits into the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that I don't have to lug the big one back and forth for the videos. Okay, die cut piece, and see that washi tape just held it right into place, and gently lift that up and we have our die cut piece. Okay. Spare pieces of scrap cardstock are perfect for doing those die cut pieces parts. All right, on the back of our smudged crushed curry Cajun Craze piece, we're going to do dimensionals, if I can find them. I'm sure they're right in front of my face. Yep, they are, right there. On the back here, we're just gonna add a couple. Now, I'm sure somebody's gonna ask, why am I using black dimensionals? Kind of the same reason as I used Stampin' Seal Plus. I ran out of dimensionals. I always have a huge stack of regular dimensionals for classes, and I honestly thought I had a huge backup stock. And I had a class, I went to go grab extras, and I had no more white regular dimensionals left. So I got some black ones. I had black ones and I rarely use them. And I added glue on the back of this piece, and we actually want it to be dimensional instead. So just cut a dimensional in half and then add it to the back of that piece. So you can use black dimensionals on white cardstock. It won't show through. So even if you have black and you run out of white dimensionals, you can still use black ones. It still works perfectly fine. All right, and that's gonna go right there in the bottom corner. As the finishing touch, we're gonna come back in with those adhesive backed rustic metallic dots. And this time we're gonna use 2 of the bigger sized ones. And that's just gonna go right here on one side of our sentiment and then on the other side. So it frames our sentiment. And then we're gonna add these little argyle pieces. Because we are just using little bits of liquid glue on them, they'll just tuck right in between our little dimensional sentiment pieces. So you can just add a little bit of glue and then just tuck it right up under your sentiment. I did that after my sentiment piece because I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go, and if I added the Argyle pieces first, it could be way up here that I put it on, or sticking off the card too far, or not seeing the Argyle piece. So I wanted to add them after so that I could just tuck them right in the back of our sentiment. Okay, so here is our second project that we created here today. And let me know which one is your favorite in the comments. I really like the one showcasing all of the designer series paper. It's fun, and then with that pop of crushed curry, it really stands out and makes the sentiment bright and bold, and just pop against the darker tones of the projects. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite here today. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. I hope you really enjoyed these masculine projects. Like I said, sometimes masculine projects are hard for me to create, but with the He's All That Sweet, it's really easy and fun to create with these colors that I usually don't really work with. All right, I hope you all have an amazing week, and I will see you again next time for another round